Greetings, you magnificent mortals. It is I, Nukeshot Zokeo, back again with more action from the SRF ARS World GT Series. This is round 4, brought to you live at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. It's going to be the second endurance round of the season. Qualifying has just got underway after we had a bit of a delayed start with some technical difficulties. Apologies for that. Things should hopefully be spicy. Now the car's on their outlaps, although it would seem we're having a reset due to the pit lane glitch. So not too much missing at the moment. Everyone getting back on circuit. Not 100% sure if qualifying has been remade green yet. Everyone's just testing out that. Are there still some with the issue? It would seem. We've got the stream working, but the lobby seems to have collapsed somewhat. Nice overtake there by Rotary on the straight. So unfortunately we're going to have to be having a lobby reset, which is not how I wanted to start this, but never mind, at least we got the stream up and running, so that'll be something to look forward to in the future. Just going to go over the circuit. Not going to start this up, just going to show it. Here it is, Spa-Francorchamps. We're going to be racing afternoon 16:45, so sunny conditions. 4.35 miles in length, plenty of turns, plenty of straights. Tends to favour cars with good straight line speed. You think of Ferrari in modern F1. Seems to suit them quite well indeed. But of course you've got the technical sector in Sector 2. So a good mix. Expect cars to be running slightly more aero than you would at Monza, but not overly much, because as I said, the straights here are very, very long indeed. You can gain a lot of easy tenths by doing so. Unfortunately, I am not joined by Mika in the booth today, as he's feeling ill. Instead, I'm joined by a glass of pineapple juice, which I've got on my desk. So everyone say hi to the glass of pineapple juice on the chat. There's also a fly in my room. Peasant. Oh dear. Going over some of those in chat. Hello to Amuda, nice having you along here. Dredgen as well, asking what is up, Drama Alert Nation. Now that I've said that, I'm gonna get a copyright strike, so shout out to Keemstar and all the men dem. Lobby's back up. And of course ARS Racing Series, nice having you along as well. Taylor Glacier, that is Rotary, calling me a peasant despite me complimenting him making an overtake already. Can't get the staff these days, or the fans. But we're doing this anyway. So, according to what was announced, I believe it's going to be 40 laps of racing here today. Though on the lobby it did say 37, that may have been changed. So we've got 6 minutes until qualifying's restarted as other guys are rejoining. Yep, 37 there, that's plus the formation lap, so 36 of racing. Either way, it's going to be 4 laps on 2 compounds of tyres minimum. Expect to see a lot of the softs as we normally do. And probably the medium is what everyone's going to go with for their secondary option that they're going to run just 4 laps on. Again, the tyres do make quite a bit of a difference through this middle sector. So I just get everything reset up. More people joining the lobby. I'm going to just go over the current championship situation at the moment. It is Wake after a fantastic recovery drive, you may remember, at Brands Hatch. They're on 55 points, 10 points clear of their nearest opponent, Swablo, who was on 45. Of course, Joe, who missed out Brands Hatch, they're on 42 points. James, best of the ART cars, they're on 36. Fred Dude on 26 points. They're in 5th, 1 point clear of Wybear, their teammate, who's on 25. TSR Stig for Nissan Gojira, or rather Simpak Gojira, using the Nissan, of course. They're on 15 points, they're in 7th. Splurge, well, it actually says Splurge is on 16 points, but in 8th, so perhaps those two are swapped around, I assume. Quinners, fan favourite, he should be here. In fact, he is here, he's just chilling in the pits at the moment. There he is. He is only 9th in the standings on 13 points. Rotary on 11 points, they're in 10th. Sota on 6 points, they're in 11th. Joint 11th actually with Amuda, who's also on 6 points, and John Wandering yet to score. So cars make their way up Radion. Watching Rotary. That Jaguar has become a bit more competitive since the switch. Each race seems to gain a bit more pace. From what we're hearing from the data they did reveal to us in practice, they seem to be just about there now with some of the top runners. Look forward to seeing how the Paradox machine does. ART James being chased down by Swablo as they make their way down towards the bus stop. Aston Martin there, of course, of ARS Racing Blue. Best of the ART machines. And of course Swablu as well. They are, of course, part of the Team Simpact main team. That Mercedes serves them well at the moment. They are in 2nd in the championship, you may recall. Splurge, one of the Porsches here today of ARS Racing Team Series organisers. They're looking quite strong as well. Here we see Wybear in one of the Nukeshot Starscream BMWs. And the other one making their way through the Piff Paff. And now what I believe is Campus. I'm going to just have to do a quick bit of research on that. Fred Dude. Amuda seems to have made some kind of a mistake on the Camel Straight, and they've reset. So we're about 2 minutes away from the restart of qualifying after the technical difficulties with the lobby. Hope you're enjoying the stream so far. If you're looking forward to some fantastic racing and some fantastic hot lap action coming up very shortly, be sure to leave a like on the stream. It does help out the channel, as every YouTuber under the sun has said in the past. I'm sure it does something, I just don't know what it does yet. Just going over some more of my notes here. Some Discord memes, coffin dancers already in that chat. Ah, here's a track map. So the cars now making their way through Lake Com. And yes, Campus is the first part, Stavlo the second part, right. That's gonna take a while to remember, but I shall do my best, of course. In terms of the Teams Championship, I can go over quickly. Simpact in the lead on 87 points. Simpak Gojira, the second team out of that outfit, they're on 70 points in 2nd. The Nukeshot Starscream lads are in 3rd with 51 points. ARS Racing Blue 36 points in 4th. That main ARS Racing team on 29 points, they're in 5th. Paradox Auto Works are in 6th, they're on 11 points. Golden Bear Motorsport on 6 points. Remember, you get an extra point for the pole position and fastest lap in this championship. So every point counts, every bit of effort counts as the cars make their way down on the route laps. Here you see Jaguar making their way up Radion. Hello to Emilius in chat, nice for you to be joining us here. As some Oh dear, some are still having some issues here. As you can see, some pit glitches. Unfortunate to see. We're just going to focus on what's happening on circuit at the moment as the cars make their way on the outlap. Rotary leading the pack. Quinners currently second, although that was very wide out of X by Rotator. You already see the marbles building up on the outside of Go-On, so make their way through the pith path, also known as Fanya. Many corners with many different names. Oh, stream's not live for me anymore. There we go, that should be back to live again. Now making the way up the back, not so straight. Through the extremely fast left-hander of Blanchimont, making their way down towards, or up towards rather, the bus stop chicane, as we're about to see some laps start here. I think just to save time and embarrassment from last time, I'm gonna just go over the track from an onboard while in qualifying, save a bit of time for the organisers as well. So turn 1, the La Source hairpin. Want to brake nice and late. Good apex there, just about nice on exit as well by Rotary. Plunging down, you can see the elevation change. And Radion in front of you with a Rouge just before. Almost a 90-degree incline from the downhill he was going before. Nice line through there as well. It is flat in these GT3 spec machines. Now onto the Kennel Straight, of course. Now you want to be braking roughly at the start of the curbs, I believe. There we go, you can hear. And then the Lakon complex. Again, nice run there by Rotary, far better than what I could have done, no doubt. Then the Bruxelles hairpin, also known as Ravage. Then formerly No Name Corner, now given the name X. Nice on throttle there. Then this extremely fast left-hand double apex that is Go-On. Very tight on the second part of that. Perhaps not going the car's full speed there. Then the pit path, also again known as oh, names escape me, apologies. Fanya, that was it. Then Campus. Making the way onto the back, not so straight again. Pretty much flat out through here. Flat out through Blanchimont as well, which is coming up, I believe. Have to be very brave there. We've already seen an incident in another series of two cars going side by side there, you may recall. Not in this series, but another one, of course. As they now make their way through the bus stop chicane, and about to come across the line. What's it going to be for Rotary? It's going to be a 217.3. And Roland has gone faster by pretty much a second at 216.2. Great pace there by Quinners. Joe with a 216.4, I believe that is. James third fastest at the moment, a further half a tenth back there. As of course the 5 minutes are up, so pretty much one shot for some of these guys. If you was fast out the pits, then you get an extra lap. Splurge fifth, again not much separating these guys. The top five, just about 5/10 of a second separate them. Here we also see Sota in the Audi R8. Oh, and there's been a collision of sorts. Who's that? Wake has been involved in an incident. I'm not 100% sure who the other car is. It may have been it might have been a Muda we just saw there. I'm not 100% sure. Wake does have damage. Did a Muda also? Yep. Front damage and rear damage, that adds up to what happened there. Some of these guys still going around. Here we go with Rotary at the moment. Been passed by Joe on circuit. As the rest of the cars are about to come across the line to complete their second lap. Of course, some of them did miss out. And by the looks of things, it's going to be TSR Stig. Yep, as all cars have crossed the line, TSR Stig has managed to take pole position here at Spa-Francorchamps for round 4 of the ARS World GT Series. Extra point goes their way. Here is the live timing, as you can see. So a 2:16.0 for Stig in the end. Closest challenger being Quinners with a 2:16.2. Of course, Stig has actually missed a couple rounds, so he is on lower ballast than some of his rivals, so that might have something to do with it. But nevertheless, a fantastic achievement by one of the many Simpac drivers we have here today, of course, for the Gojira team. Now we go into a break period for now. And Hagee would appear to be allowing Fred to have a lap because of his technical difficulties, which is very generous of him, and he has managed to get out the pits. So qualifying not over just yet because of the technical difficulties. A couple cars still making their laps. Is that a bit of fuel burning? Indeed it is. Go on board here with Fred Dude for now, if we can. He's just typing some stuff. I'm gonna go with all the telemetry and stuff as well. Now, from what I've saw with the front aero and the rear aero damage, it was a Muda who would have made contact with Wake. Here you see the fuel burning in action. Good tactic to lower the weight of the car before a lap. Hello Mika in the chat. Nice having you along as well. I'm going to have a sip of my co-host here. The pineapple juice. So Wake, I believe, is also going to be getting a lap. Yep. So the current championship leader, who also seemed to have difficulties with that collision, they are on their outlap at the moment. Mika has been feeling sick recently, so that is why he hasn't been joining me here today. Hopefully he'll be back for the next round, but until then it's just going to be me here. If you could point things out in the chat that I might miss, or things of that nature, it does happen, then be sure to do so in the chat, and I'll be going over the chat every now and again just to check over messages. I believe Fred is on his lap now. Indeed so. Muda is also back as well. So the two Belgians on their home circuit getting last minute laps in. See what kind of speed Fred can get up to on the straight here. Just touching 158 and braking. Through Lake Holm. Nice and smooth over the curbs. Gonna also bounce over to Wake, who's just about to start their lap. Down towards the Lassource hairpin, very close to the wall there. Manages to avoid hitting it. Now on the plunge down. Gonna see if we can compare the top speeds of these guys. Gonna go back to Fred, as Wake was a little bit shaky over there. Fred currently going through the pit path. $158. Just touches 160 on the straight and braking. It's going to be interesting to see how the two car dynamics stack up against each other. Fred just has the bus stop to go. Seems to get a good exit there. What's it going to be for him? It's going to be a 217.4. That's enough for 7th place. As Wake now coming up to the pit path. Nice amount of curb there on exit, not running too wide, and onto the AstroTurf through campus. Again, nice. Oh, purple times there. So Wake could be on for a stunner. They do have more weight than their teammate Stig on board, but they seem to have found a bit of pace here. We're going to go on board with them here through Longchamp. Now where do they brake for the chicane? Nice amount of cut there, gets the car nicely to the right. Good line up through here. It's going to be close. It's a 253? Game, what are you doing? It's a 216.292. That's enough for 3rd place on the grid. So Simpak Gojira having a really good day here in the Ardennes Forest. And that pretty much brings us to the start of the race then, as we were a little bit pushed for time with the technical difficulties, but nevertheless things are about to get underway, as for whatever reason I'm having technical difficulties of my own. Why is the live timing still up? Okay, there, hopefully that's the last of the technical issues for today. Apologies for that. It is Stig on pole, Quidders in 2nd, Wake 3rd, Joe 4th, James 5th, Splurge 6th, Road through 7th, Fred 8th. Remember, we've got a formation lap to go, not green just yet. As the cars gain manual control. 70 miles an hour is the speed limit here for these guys, as instructed by the race director Hagee. Again, look at the surroundings on this. Fantastic place is Spa-Francorchamps. Love to go there in real life sometime, as I'm sure many a motorsport fan would. Place steeped in motorsport history. Some of these guys just weaving a bit. There you see Splurge in the Porsche, just to keep their tyres warm. Interesting to see the two BMW teammates in 8th and 9th, so very close to each other. Hopefully we don't see any contact like we did at Druids last time, lads. Please, I'm begging of you. Hopefully it'll just be a clean start in general from the whole field. Sota in the Audi R8, they managed 10th in the end. Could be interesting to see how they do. They've had ups and downs throughout the season so far when it comes to pace. We have an hour and 30 minutes of racing approximately today, so hope you are settling in. We go green in around 2 minutes time. Gonna go for rear wing cam if we can there on Stig's machine. Just having a look at the field all the way back. Everyone seems to be keeping their distance nice and well, which was an issue at the start of the season. Rules being implemented, of course, to ensure the safety of the drivers. Very sporting of them all. Again, nice to see some activity in the chat. Polyphony scaring Radish. Oh dear, I can't even say Radish right anymore. Things are going to go well today. So well today. Again, if you've enjoyed the qualifying session and are looking forward to the race, be sure to leave a like on the channel. We will be broadcasting the remainder races of the season. Of course, after this broadcast, if you've missed the rest of the championship, you can go through the video archives of this channel to find the rest of the season. See how we got into the current situation of things. Here we go then, double file, the cars are lining up. It's going to be Stig on the inside for the La Source hairpin. As they nearly go 3 wide, I don't know what Wake is doing there, that was a bit odd. Seems very to the left of circuit as they make their way through the bus stop. We're about to go racing here for round 4 of the ARS World GT Series. As soon as Stig crosses the timing line, we are green, and the cars are off. Stig gets a good run off of the start. Roland still up alongside. It would seem that Wake is also managed to maintain 3rd place. They could be getting 2nd as they get a fantastic run going out of there. In fact, no, that was Joe, not Wake. Apologies for that. Getting those two mixed up. As side by side they run. Bit of contact between the two of them. That would have pushed Roland off the circuit there just a bit. Some cars running wide. There you see James in the back in that blue Aston Martin running a bit off. So you see Wake also making an overtake. That GTR, an absolute monster on the straight. Can they get it done on the brakes though? Indeed they can, but they've overshot it slightly. That's going to allow Quinners to get back alongside. And he's still there. Hold your line. Can he do anything through the Brussels hairpin? We've seen Quinners go around the outside before. Are they going to try the Alex Albon and cut back underneath him? very nearly, seems that Wake manages to retain the position. Sota's moved up to 8th meanwhile, as we've actually got a full course caution after Amuda and Wybear both have engine damage. So that's going to calm down the race. Well, they say engine damage, or just mechanical damage, I assume. Let's see what happened here if we can on a replay. Oh, unfortunately we've missed it as it was happening, just focusing on some of the battles that we had. We've got 100 miles an hour as the speed limit now to hopefully get the race underway faster. Oh, that may have been a bit of contact in the braking zone of Lecom, but it may have been a collision at the top of Radion. It's difficult to say. Nevertheless, the race has been temporarily neutralized. I can speak, I promise. Of course, some of these guys are going to be on different tyre compounds. Let's just go over some of these guys. So Stig on the softs because he's at the front. Joe also on softs. Top of the medium runners, interestingly, is Splurge, who is 3rd at the moment. And in fact is going to be 1st. For whatever reason, Stig has pitted. Stig's actually got the damage, have they? No, that's Wybear, apologies. So Stig... okay, Stig's going on to the mediums, that explains it. He's got to rejoin at the very back of the train, with everyone caught up. Can't just slot in, that is the new rule. There we see him letting everyone go by. They are going to be in 8th for the restart. Should hopefully be this lap. So they're going to try and get those mediums over and done with. 4 laps is the minimum to do on those mediums. Again, thanks Mika in chat for going over some of the full course caution rules and such with those asking questions. Of course, the Sim Racing Federation, where some of the rules come from for this series, is constantly being developed. Did have a recent meeting about full course cautions and safety car procedures and such, actually. So for the restart, it's going to be Splurge, interestingly on the medium compounded tyres, leading us off. Wake on the softs. They should have a very good run on the Porsche, especially because the GTR is more of a straight line car and the Porsche more of a handling car. I expect that to be a relatively easy pass for the Belgian, one of the 2 home favourites here today on the Camel Straight. We've also got the other Porsche of Quinners, they're also on the medium, so they're serving their time on that compound at the moment. Fred has managed to get his way up to 4th through all of this at the moment. They're on the softs. They find themselves in a very good position after a bit of a lackluster qualifying by them, it has to be said. Also on the softs, James, here we see. Medium runner Sota, so they're getting their mediums used up in this stage, as is Rotary. Of course, Stig switched to that compound, as did Joe. Wybear also on the mediums, and as is Amuda. We're about to go green again then. Racing about to go underway. When does Splurge accelerate? We're about to see... I think we're just about green again here at Spa-Francorchamps. Splurge does indeed get a bit of a jump over Wake. Down to La Source. Looks like Quinners... oh, gets a bit slidey on exit. as we're also seeing Sota in 7th, going side by side with Joe. In fact, just lets them go by. Back to the lead, Peck, Splurge still there. Now, will we see the GTR close in time on the straight? We're going to go rear wing cam here. He tries to break the slipstream, is allowed to do so, and I think he's going to be safe as they make their way up towards the middle sector, and that's going to be very difficult for the GTR to get past in. So the Porsche in clear air. This has actually worked out very well for Splurge, as we're also seeing that Fred looking to the inside of Roland, as we're also seeing for 7th Rotary being overtaken with Stig on the inside line.com. Fantastic scrap here. Stig manages to make his way up to 6th place, as Rotary very slidey all over the road. Looks like Joe might also be lining up a bit of an attack. Through Pawn they go. It looks like Joe's going to bide his time for now, although it's still very, very close. Very racy between these guys. The battle for the lead. In fact, Wake has managed to close up a bit. There's a train of 5 cars at the front of the field, and they're all being held up by Splurge on that medium compound of tyres. And Wake manages to slot his way up the inside. And it looks like Fred has also got a little bit of a run with the slipstream. Will the Porsche be able to challenge as they make their way through Blanchimont? Maybe on the brakes. The Porsche should have better brakes, you'd think, than the GTR. To the outside, Splurge goes. Will he try and get the move to stick? He's not quite managed it. Fred's going to try a little bit of a cutback, get a little bit of a better run on exit. Hasn't quite worked out for them there. As also again, back here, Rotary looking to again challenge very nearly on Stig as they made their way through Lake Com. It didn't quite work out for them. Joe all over the back of them like a bad rash. Look at this. Then again, they do also have the slipstream from Stig, so it's going to be moderately difficult for them to overtake us. Actually, Rotary runs a bit off the road there. Going to go back to the battle for the lead. Wake defends the inside. The Porsche's actually got a run around the outside line.com. Still side by side, they run through Lake Com. And just about holding position there, as Fred seemed to get a bit of a bump from James, which nearly forced them into Splurge. Bit of a concertina effect. Bit of an accordion effect, if you are musically inclined. Oh, look at this. This is fantastic racing between the top 5 here. Splurge goes a little bit wide over the AstroTurf, making the way down to Pawn. All a bit slidey there by the Porsche. All right on the limits of that curve as well. It's actually allowing Wake to get away, it would seem. So Fred perhaps needs to get a move done relatively soon if he's going to keep tabs on that Nissan. We'll have to see how it develops. You can clearly see that Splurge is holding up these guys. Just hasn't quite got the pace of some of the guys behind him on the softer compounds of tyres. Now, will Fred be able to get a bit of a run on the Porsche on the straight, going rear wing cam here on Splurge's car? Here we go. A bit of a run through Blanchimont. Going to be difficult to line up anything. Fred manages to just find the outside. No, he switches to the inside. And James also looking a bit racy. Nearly goes down the inside of Fred. All this fantastic scrapping. Wake has managed to get a 2.4 second lead over the rest of them, as someone is going into the pits. That is Sota, so their medium stint is done. They've done the 4 laps, that is why they're going into the pits. No mechanical damage as far as I know. Now, up Radion again. We're about to see if Splurge can do what he did to Wake before and hold him off on the run here. Although Fred does seem a bit closer. Also, you see James, 3 wide we go on the Camel straight. Absolutely swamped is the orange car between blue cars. Look at this. And then side by side, there you go. It would seem that James has managed to take a fantastic opportunity and make 2 overtakes on the straight. Fantastic move there by ART James. Now hopefully these guys on the soft compounded tyres, Fred and James, will start working together to catch Wake again. Hopefully they've got the pace to do so. Oh, that's fantastic racecraft. We see that as one of the Porsches, I believe that's Roland, goes a little bit wide out of X. Bit sideways as well with the dirt on the tyres. I'm going to cut back to some of those a bit further back in the order. Stig, they are still on their medium compound, remember, they're serving their 4 laps. They're in 6th at the moment. Joe playing rear gunner at this stage, they're in 7th. Rotary in 8th, they seem to be dropping back a little bit. Weiber in 9th, after being involved in an incident they've dropped back a fair bit. They are on the mediums though, also to take into account. Amuda in 10th and Sota in 11th. Of course, they've just swapped to their soft compounded tyres. 2.7 seconds is the gap between Wake and James. We've got 11 people on the stream right now. Fantastic. Hope you're all enjoying the action. Again, be sure to leave a like if you are. Just braking a little bit too late there, as we actually see a move for 4th. The Porsche swap around at the chicane. Let's see this. So Quinn has managed to get a run on their teammate. Of course, not going to fight each other too hard. On the brakes, Quinn has managed to get it stopped. Nice one. Oh, and also we're seeing Stig very nearly get up alongside of Splurge. Oh, look at that, the grass being kicked up. Can barely see through the dust. On the camera lens, Jack Wilkinson, of course, providing the camera work for us here today. When has he ever not? Splurge defends to the inside. Gonna try a bit of a Rosberg squeeze, bit of a Schumi squeeze, whatever you want to call it. It's all boxing Stig in between the 2 Porsches. They're still side by side through Lake Calm. Splurge on the dirty line, can't quite hold it. Joe very slidey as well. Joe manages to get past Splurge. Splurge drops back to 7th, loses 2 positions in that one section alone. And now Stig will be trying to chase down Quinners. Let's not forget. Here you see, oh, Muda getting a bit sideways. They're ahead of Rotary at the moment. Oh, again, massive twitch there by the Lexus. Just running a little bit too wide. Rotary manages to get a run alongside them. The Paradox machine gets alongside on the inside, side by side through Port. Surely not. How? What? And how has that nearly gone clean? Sota's trying to make it 3 wide as on the rejoin, Amuda comes across. And somehow this has not ended in tears just yet. I could be speaking a bit too soon. Side by side the R8 and the RCF go, and the Lexus backs out of it in the end. Did any of these guys get damage? No, none of them with damage. Fantastic racing by these guys, as I accidentally put to a replay cam for whatever reason. Okay, that's Stig in the pits, so is Splurge, so is Joe. They haven't got damage as far as I'm aware, no. This is purely to get off of the medium compounded tyres. Start working together on the softer compounds. They've managed to serve those 4 laps. I think Fred might be a little bit too far back to get a run on these guys. Or are they going to rejoin? It would seem Stig rejoins 5th, Joe 6th, Splurge 7th, just ahead of Weiber, but Weiber could get a bit of a run as they make their way up. Of course, both of these guys have now used up their alternate compounded tyres with the 4 laps, and Weiber goes to the inside, not defended at all by Splurge on this occasion. very inside there. Wybear has to back out of it. James in second at the moment. They've managed to catch Wake. 1.8 seconds the gap. Now this is interesting. We don't normally see the guy in first who has a gap be caught. This is very interesting to note. Wake does have fresher tyres as well, so this is purely on merit and pace. So well done to James so far on that, bringing both them and Fred closer, making my life a lot easier as Fred runs over the AstroTurf. That's not going to help their run through this corner. Here we also see Quinners. They're on a bit of an island at the moment. Around 6 seconds for the car ahead, and 13 to the car behind. They're in no man's land. They're on the mediums though, serving those laps. Oh, all 4 tyres go across the line there. That's one for race control to perhaps know if that's something that they wish to pick up on. I don't know. We'll have to see. Around 5/10, another gap between them, as Quinners does indeed go into the pits, so they're gonna be rejoining somewhere. Someone has spat out, actually. That's a Muda. What's happened here? It seemed that by themselves, just clipping the grass there, and one mistake seemed to turn into another. Did they do something similar here? Yep, carrying too much speed into the wall. Single car incident. They pick up damage. Not going to be a full course caution, I'm afraid, lad. Aston looking very good in the straights, despite the BMW having slipstream. Very impressive indeed. Quinn has rejoined in 5th, so Stigger's managed to get a jump on one of those places. Oh, look at this though. James having to fend off Fred in the BMW, going to go rear wing cam again for this fantastic dogfight of blue machinery. Down towards P1, we're gonna see what happens. The dirty air should be affecting Fred. Seems to be coping quite well. Again, not that easy to make an overtake in this particular sector. Also just consecutive corner complexes. It's all about just sticking with the guy ahead in order to ensure that you can get a run on the straight. Oh, a little bit wide by both of them there. It's actually allowing Wake to build that gap again. It's 1.6 seconds and increasing as they go on the straight. 1.7 seconds now, in fact. They can just about still see Wake in the white and yellow machine. Fred just biding his time again for now. Meanwhile, a bit further back, Stig still 4th, Gwynner's 5th, separating them, the 2 TSR cars of Joe and Stig. So Joe in 6th there. As, oh, bit juicy here between Splurge and Wybear. Oh, bother, wrong button. Apologies. Splurge currently ahead, having to defend from them, and Rotary also involved in this very juicy scrap. Gonna go forward cam here on Rotary's Jaguar. Supercharged is this Jaguar, believe it or not. Very rare to come across that in a Group 3 car. It's only providing them power on these straights here today. Again, look at the wall. As you see, old sparks being thrown in the camera's face as well, through the compression of Eau Rouge. And it seems the Jaguar is getting a bit of a run on the BMW. Will it be enough? No, you can hear the lift, they backed out of it. Wybear, on the other hand, just putting himself in the mirrors, I think. Just compromised their line a little bit. You can see the Jaguar's caught right back up again. Oh, a bit of a mistake. And again, backing out by Rotary, being patient. Definitely one to monitor though. Another one to monitor. The battle for second continues. These guys, it's difficult to tell whether they are holding station and working together to catch Wake, or if they are trying to just overtake each other at this stage. James has the fastest lap of the race at 2:15.6, which is faster than we've seen in any of the qualifying sessions here today. Extremely impressive. Of course, slipstream more prevalent in the race, very beneficial, of course, around this type of circuit. Again, glowing brake discs, you can see they're on the brakes there for the chicane. Down to La Source, we're about to see if anything happens here. It would seem Fred is a bit too far back again. Just going to hold station, see if he can set himself up for a run up Radion. Oh, and the guys in fourth, Stiggenbach, they seem very far behind at the moment compared to the rest of them. Of course, they are on different strategies. Still plenty of the race to go. We're on lap 10 of 36 of racing. Of course, we did have that formation lap, that's why it's -1. Joe in 6th, starting to gain a bit of ground on Quinners, the gap just under 2 seconds. Splurge still ahead of Y-Bear. And Rotor in that Jaguar still very not far behind them either. Oh, Y-Bear seems to have a very good run here on this occasion. Pulls up alongside. Through Lake Com again. Oh, understeers off. Splurge has to go straight on. That was definitely Y-Bear just overcooking it there. Should give the place back, I believe. It's very similar to an incident they had with Splurge last time out at Brands Hatch, actually. They just got a little bit too racy and they made contact. Can definitely see that one going to the stewards again. Nevertheless, at the moment, just going by what's on the road, Y-Bear 7th, Rotary's benefited from that. They had nothing to do with that contact, but they benefited from it. They're in 8th, and Splurge is in 9th. As James has actually gone wide. James goes wide, and that's allowed Fred to move up into second. James in the pits. Gonna just see what happened here. It seemed was there contact? Oh, difficult to say. Gonna see if I can get another replay. Oh, come on. Nope, no contact there. It was just James out braking himself. Sorry for the multiple angles, just had to clarify with that one. Oh, there's Rotary. Getting a bit close with Y-Bear. Could get a run as they make their way down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Oh, that Jaguar looking very, very good at the moment. I did mention they were looking a lot better on pace at the moment. To the outside line they go. They've got the right line here. Hopefully Y-Bear doesn't make the same mistake of outbraking themselves as they did with Splurge. Indeed, they've backed out of it. And hopefully Y-Bear will give the position back to Splurge now, at least, now that there isn't another car in the mix. Indeed, would seem to do so. Again, might still be a penalty for how long it took, but situational. Oh, Splurge goes a bit wide over the grass. It's going to be an interesting one for the stewards to deliberate. Quinners, they're currently in 5th. The gap's actually pretty much stayed the same between them and Joe, around 2 seconds. So equal pace between these guys. Roughly half on fuel, so they still got quite a way to go on this stint. The tyres are quite fresh as well. James, you may have been wondering, rejoined in 4th. Actually, not that far behind Stig. They've got Stig's slipstream here. This could be key, to be fair. If they can stick with Stig's slipstream, then they could perhaps jump both Fred and Wake when they eventually come to do their pit stops. Of course, Stig on that alternate strategy compared to some of the others. Joe on that same strategy as well. It'll be very interesting to note that one. At the moment, Wake has a 2.8 second lead over Fred, but it's a Belgian 1-2 here at Spa-Francorchamps. We are 12 laps in. So that's around a third of the race distance, if I'm not mistaken. Fred now in clear air. Stig not having to defend from the Aston Martin. The Aston, also another car that's very good on the straights. It seemed that they were caught out by the dirty air there from the GTR, just outbraking themselves a little bit. They also see Quinners still looking to mix things up. Splurge still ahead of Bear at this stage. The gaps seeming to increase now between these guys a bit further down the order. Soats are in 10th. You can just about see them in the R8 going through the Russell hairpin. And Amuda, who is just coming up to Eau Rouge. Sparks again being thrown by the Lexus, so very low on that rear suspension. Of course, does help with the straight line speed. Then again, you don't want to compromise the handling by not running any rake at all, but it's all about finding these compromises with setups. Gonna just monitor the gap now. 2.5 seconds as they come across the line to start lap 13. Wake goes through Lake La Source, and as does Fred. Again, getting La Source and Le Com confused. Apologies. Oh, see you around, Mika. Again, nice of you having. Well, nice to have you in the chat again. Unfortunate you couldn't join us today. Get well soon, lad. Wish you all the best to have you around for the next race. He was thinking that there's a bit of contact between them and Joe. Also Swablu. That's a fair point. Swablu not on circuit, it would seem. So they were here earlier, but it may have been a retirement or something I missed completely. I do apologise. Again, the gap staying pretty much the same. Stig is indeed showing he's got pace still on this alternate strategy. He's pulled a 3.2 second gap over James, and I think that those two are very close together. Joe not doing as well as he would certainly like at the moment. His last lap was a 2:16.9 there you saw. And yeah, of course, throughout the series, ballast does accumulate for finishing first, second and third. However, he did miss last week. He's currently down in 6th, as we said. You can see the two cars ahead, both ARS machines. going to go to this battle, I think, between Quinners and James. So Arrows Racing Blue ahead of regular Arrows Racing Team, the Orange Machine. Swablu left and he couldn't see the lobby during qualifying, so he couldn't be bothered after the reset. So, okay. Again, unfortunate that these things happen, especially with you in such a good championship position. As down the inside goes Quinners at La Source. It's going to be side by side. Bit of a drag race, Porsche versus Aston Martin. It looks like the Porsches managed to get ahead. But will the Aston be able to retaliate? Surely. Watching here. Again, Porsche with that mid-engine should have good traction. Now we're at the top end. This is where the grunt of the V12 Aston should come into its own. Again, not defensive by Quinners. Seeing that a lot by the Porsches. Side by side they run. Of course, A and B teammates, so trying to avoid contact at all costs. James, believe it or not, in the Arrows Racing Blue car is the team manager. Oh, very nearly contact between the two of them there in the braking zone of the Brussels hairpin. So Quinners would do quite well to avoid taking out his boss. Through for one they come. You can also see there Joe lurking in the background. Oh, the Aston goes for a bit of a wider exit, trying to carry that momentum up towards the pit path. Again, Quinners looking for a cutback, it would seem. Seems to be one of his favourite moves is to pull off our cutbacks. Going for a bit of a wider entry for a tighter exit. It's worked for him on many occasions. He might try something similar going up to the bus stop chicane. Will James be ready for an attack? Here we see, will James defend what will be the inside, or will he go to the outside, which is the racing line? It would seem Quinners has made that decision for him. Braking around the outside. Has he got it stopped? He somehow has! Fantastic move there by ART Quinners. I just said ART Quinners, mad. That's his proposed future username. Hasn't changed it as of yet. Here we go again. Round the outside of his teammate. Of course, would have been helped by James backing out a little bit, with those two being on the same team, but also not the same team at the same time. Again, kicking up dust. A bit of a spark there from the Mercedes of the Joe 2 guy. Will the Aston be able to get a run? Again, Quinners not going defensive. Feels like he can hang it around the outside if James does try the insideline.com. Seems to get it to work. So James back up to fourth. Fantastic scrapping between the two of them, but they need to start working together to pull away from Joe, who is well within this guy's slipstream range. Still with 11 cars in this race. That hasn't seemed to change. Side by side, still they run through X, and Quinners manages to get it done. Gonna see a replay of this one, Chief. So James seems to run a little bit wide through the Brussels hairpin. Blue flag's been given to Amuda meanwhile. And Quinners manages to do essentially an Alex Albon. Well done to them for that. Meanwhile, James now coming under a bit of an attack from the Joe 2 guy. Rear wing cam, here we go. To the outside looks Joe. Thinks better of it. Again, trying to get that tighter exit. Get a bit of a run. Difficult to do in such a short corner complex. A bit of a nudge there onto the AstroTurf, and Joe seems to back off the throttle, realizing that. Good sporting behavior from the Joe 2 guy as ever. Shouldn't be able to get a run through here, I think. A bit too far back. As Quinners dives into the pit lane, as does Joe. Gonna see what happens here. Quinn is on less fuel, so Joe's actually managed to save a bit of fuel here. Should be a shorter pit stop. Maybe he'll end up jumping him in the pits. We're gonna see. Splurge also into the pits now. That's the other Porsche. It's gonna be interesting to see how the pit crews go. Joe exits the pits. Are they ahead? I think they just about are. Are they? Nope. Quinn seems to have rejoined quite a bit ahead. Do they take on less fuel? Yep. Joe goes for a full tank while Quinn is just over half a tank. So there goes that theory out the window. As rejoining in 8th is Splurge, just ahead of Wybear. Sota still down in 10th at the moment in the R8. Of course, they have served their medium stint. They weren't the first to do so, if you recall. Namuda down in 11th, in the unfortunate position of being lapped by some of these guys. Those blue flags were issued by the race director. Nevertheless, hope that he can mount a comeback. Wake is being caught slightly by Fred. The gap was 2.5 seconds. The gap now 1.9 seconds. As very worn tyres on this car. Surely they're going to have to dive into the pits looking at the fuel. Indeed they do so. Is Fred going to follow them? Fred does indeed follow them into the pits. So they're going to try sticking together. They're very similar on fuel as well, only 1 litre apart. Now where's Stig? Here's Stig. Making their way through the bus stop. Where will Stig actually come out in relation to these guys? See, both of them at the fueling stage. Stig goes into the lead, but where will some of these guys rejoin? Oh, that's a mood up ahead, so Stig does indeed go into the lead of the race. Now where will James be in this situation? As Fred goes onto the medium compound, James is going to be in between both Fred and Wake. So Fred in 4th, James 3rd, Wake 2nd, Stig now up to 1st. As James actually looking like he might get a run on Wake here. Gonna go on board, there we go, front cam. Here Wake goes defensive to the inside. Yasmin was up alongside, maybe try a bit of a shoomy squeeze to the right side of the track, opts not to, and round the outside on the brakes. James moves up into 2nd place. Of course, Wake will need a little bit of time to find his groove with the new tyres. He did fuel up quite a lot as well, if I recall. Yep, full tank for Wake. Full tank for Fred as well, but Fred on the medium compound. Of course, they haven't served that time as of yet. 4 laps. A bit slidey by them as well. Oh, it looks like Wake sizing him up. Maybe something through the piff path. James has to go defensive here. Oh, round the outside of the piff path, surely not. It's going to switch to the inside. How has Wake managed that one? Fantastic move there by Wake. Going to see a replay of this. Somehow in the GTR manages to go around the outside, and because of the corner complex switches to the inside. Fantastic move there by them. So it is a GTR 1-2 here at Spa-Francorchamps. Simpat Gojira having a very good day in the office at the moment. Will James be able to try anything going into the bus stop? It would seem not. Now, how much fuel is Stig on at the moment? They're running a bit low. I reckon in 3 laps time they should be making their way into the pits. So lap 21 is my estimate. And then they should be fueling to the end. I'd imagine. Maybe not. Actually, it's going to be tight, isn't it? I believe from what I've heard some of the data guys saying, it's approximately 15 laps for a full tank of fuel. As James manages to pull alongside of Wake yet again. Is he going to try it? Wake ducks into the slipstream, ducks out, ducks back in again. Can't get the move to stick, although James seems to have run a bit too deep. Bit slidey, manages to cover off, parks the car on the apex. And Wake falls down to third yet again. This scrapping is really helping Fred stay just about in touch on those mediums. Now will Wake be able to try a move similar to what we've seen from him before? And we're going to see, we're coming up to the Pith Path. Just after Puan, here we go. Already looks like the GDR has a bit better handling. James is going to defend the middle of the circuit, it would seem. In fact, no. Down the inside goes Wake. James will have the inside for the second part, manages to retain the position. So James, learning from a lap before, manages to stay in second place, although runners a little bit wide through campus. Now on the run up towards Blanchimont. What will Wake be able to do? Here we go. Surely not going to try anything through Blanchimont, that would be suicide. Yep, backs out of it. James is going to defend the inside, it would seem. He's going to try the outside line.com. James seems to cover him off well. He's going to try for a bit of a better exit. Can't quite get it. And there you'll see a Muda up ahead. Very good racecraft between these guys. It is like a game of chess. Hello CJ in the chat, nice having you along as well. Despite what some of the other people in chat will probably say to me saying that. No, all good having you here. Sparks being thrown up again as we make our way up Radion. The GDR, look at the speed in the slipstream. To the outside he goes. Will it be a bit of a shoomy squeeze? Oh, Wake manages to get the shoomy squeeze done. Onion barges between the two of them. Little bit of contact. And James just about manages to hold on to that position. Though I am intrigued. Let's just have an onboard from here. How close it did get. Yep, just about fair, I'd say. Right on the limit. Swablu in chat telling CJ to go away. Wow. Now we love you, CJ, really. James, meanwhile, makes a mistake going through Huon, and that's allowed Wake to re-overtake him. Let's have a look at this again. They're just carrying a bit too much speed under pressure. Clip the inside. And then, yep, you can see he's on that dirtier line with the marbles and such. That would carry the car wide. Can't get back onto the inside line.com. And that allows Wake to get back up into second place. Blue flags again being given to Amuda. Gonna try and safely get out of the way of these guys. Good spot again by the race director. As I think we've got a bit of a scrap going on for 9th, have we? Yep, between Splurge and Y-Bear, those two also getting quite close. Stig into the pits, lap 20 it was, or lap 19 rather, so they're definitely not going to be able to get to the end on fuel. At least from the data that I've heard, they might have to do a bit of short shifting. Anyway, that's going to put Wake into the lead of the race as Splurge has got damage, is that? Indeed so. We're gonna have to see what's happened here, Chief. Oh, come on. There it was, just closing up in the braking zone, it would seem. And Wybear runs into the back of him on that occasion. Another one for the stewards to check. Wyberg just can't keep himself out of trouble, it would seem, this race. Up ahead, the battle still rages on. Wake from James from Fred. Well, the gaps, again, spread out a little bit. You can see them all in camera shot there. And also you see the orange car of Quinn is just there in the back. The lap down Amuda in the grey and red Lexus, of course, there as well. And now it would seem, with the mediums that James is on, compared to the softs of Wake, that difference is being made known. Wake managing to pull the gap back. Look at that, tenths upon tenths gained in the corners. Now, will Fred be able to catch? I believe they're on fresher mediums. Indeed they are. And in fact, it's not going to matter. James is going to have to pit again. Though I think everyone might have to pit again, unless they're a bit frugal on fuel. As out the way seems to go Amuda. Fred into the pits. So Fred's done their 4 laps. That must be what that is. And they're setting themselves up quite well if they're going to go to the end. So I think they might have to do a little bit of fuel saving if they just top up. Where will they rejoin? It's going to be 5th, I believe, just behind Stig. They can get into the slipstream of Stig, that would be ideal. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, my driver. It's all good. Up the hill they go. In fact, they are within that slipstream range of 1.3 seconds. And Stig is out of the slipstream range of Joe. They are gaining a lot on the straight anyway. What's the situation with Joe actually, with his tyres? Moderately worn. Joe, you're going to have to make another pit stop for fuel for certainty. Maybe a splash and dash towards the end. We'll have to see how that pans out. Again, the strategy is really mixing things up. Splurge, still with that damage ahead of Wyberg. Did Wyberg pick up any damage from that? Indeed they did. That explains why the two of them still quite even on pace. Side by side into the braking zone of Lecom. Splurge manages to hold on to it. Oh, bother. Replays. So Wake currently in the lead. The gap still increasing. 4.5 seconds now. The gap. And Roland actually, they're in 3rd at the moment. They are going to be due a pit stop, but if they do pit, when I expect them to, it won't require a splash and dash near the end or any fuel saving. So they're playing a very smart strategy here, I think, Quinners. Although they are in 3rd at the moment and they can drop further back. As James bails for the pits. And that's their medium stint done. Into the pits goes the ART blue machine. Will the Aston rejoin is the question. They've got a lot of fueling up to do. I'm thinking they're going to be in the no man's land between Fred and Rotary, I think. Here is Rotary, just coming up to the bus stop. And here is James indeed exiting the pits just out of La Source. There you also see the Paradox Jaguar just coming into shot. Oh, very racy here between Joe and Stig. It would seem there's been an overtake between the two of them. Gonna see if we can recatch this. It would seem to be a relatively straightforward move on the straight. Much better run by the GTR going up. Not gonna fight it. and the move managed to stick. So now Joe going to play rear gunner again, trying to hold off Fred. Realizing the GTR just has a little bit extra pace at the moment. James still has fastest lap, he was set quite early on, 2:15.633. Again, if you're enjoying the stream, be sure to leave a like. We're about 2/3 of the way through the race. Fantastic scrapping we're seeing here. Look how close again Fred gets to the back of Joe. Gonna go on board here with the BMW by Nukeshot Starscream car on the run up towards Blanchimont. It would seem that the slipstream from the GTR being as fat as it is really helping Joe stay clear of an attack from Fred at the moment. So good tactics being used by the Simpac team. You can just about hear the turbo whistle from the M6. They make their way out of bus stop. Oh, very, very close to running into the back of Stig, as we're seeing a bit of overtaking action. What's that? I saw something move on the timing sheet. Y-Bear seemed to get a bit of a run, all four wheels off the circuit, and again can't quite find the grip out there, especially with that front aero damage. So both of these guys in 8th and 9th really struggling after that contact. Wake 7.6 seconds clear up the road. Will still require a pit stop, just a splash and dash I think. Quinners finds themselves second, of course. They are due a pit stop in not many laps at all, maybe just 2 more laps. Maybe in this time around, we'll have to see. They are in clear air at the moment. I think they'd rejoin just behind Joe. Or just behind Fred rather, because these two appeared as one arrow on the map. That's how close it is between them. Fantastic dueling yet again, making their way through campus. Gonna go rear wing cam on Joe's machine. You can just about see the grille of a BMW in the back there. As Stig has managed to escape up the road a bit, 1.1 seconds. That's dropped Joe from having that slipstream. And that's allowing Fred to come back into the equation. Here we see through Blanchimont. Is Fred gonna try and set something up? It's gonna be close. Ducks out, they're going to try the outside. Can't quite get it done, though Joe does go a bit deep. Quinn is in the pits, as I expected them to do so. So Joe manages to hold on to that position for now, but for how much longer? They've completely dropped out of slipstream range just about. As Quinners, whereabouts are they? They're still fueling up. As some more cars go into the pits. Oh, look how close they get up the run of Radion. To the inside, Fred finds themselves. They've set this up fantastically on Joe. Side by side, the two rivals run. Who's going to be later on the brakes? Oh, very close stuff. Between the two of them, racing room left. Still side by side, neck and neck. Through the section, and it's still side by side on exit as well towards the Bruxelles hairpin. Surely Fred will have the advantage with the inside for such a long corner, and indeed they do so. Fred moves up into 3rd place. Of course, Joe on a lot worse tyres, it has to be noted. We're seeing some fantastic action by them. Good defence while it lasted. It seems Fred is trying to get a little bit of a gap, not much. Joe managing to stick with them. Both, I think, still due a pit stop on fuel. As... Actually, no, Fred should be okay. I think. We'll have to see how this develops. Perhaps Joe's going to do a bit of fuel saving in the slipstream now. Now, will Fred be able to catch to the back of Stig? They're on slightly better compound, or rather, better condition tyres than Stig. But then again, the GTR is very strong on the straights. Still a bit of a scrap going off between Wybear and Splurge at this stage. Here we see Splurge for ART having to defend. You got to think, with it being a mid-engine car, it already slides quite a lot. So for rear aero damage to be the case, that's probably the last thing you want. And for Wybear, front aero damage with a front engine car, that's also not ideal, far from ideal indeed. In the braking zone, seems to be a bit better behaved now, as Wybear actually bails for the pits. So they were quite low on fuel. Splurge will also need a pit stop at some point. Wybear trying to get a bit of an undercut will also repair that damage as well. I haven't really seen that many major offs by anyone. I don't want to jinx it, but no real complete lapses of concentration. As, oh, look at this. We have an Audi and BMW Centipede leading the pits, and that's been overtaken by the lap down Amuda. So Sota rejoins ahead of Wybear. That is far from ideal of what they want. Flashing the lights there by Sota, trying to make known the fact that they are there to Amuda. Indeed, it would seem that they back out of it, let off the throttle. Sota seemed to continue using the slipstream. That could have been very risky, as Amuda let them go by and seemed to drop the paces. Wybear goes off. Again, not major, but a mistake, and that's going to cost them in this battle that they're having with Splurge. Splurge in 8th. They are making their way down towards Piff Path. Wake with a 15-second gap. Stig 2.4 seconds ahead of Fred, who is 1.8 seconds ahead of Joe. James also doing well. They're in 5th at the moment, best of the ART cars, as they normally seem to be. You also see Quinners, one of the fan favourites. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to see any of the Quinners fan TV supporters here today. He probably hasn't put it on his social feed due to, I don't know, maybe ballast concerns or something. Boss, please, I need the views, boss. Sparks being thrown by the Jaguar of the Paradox Auto Works. There you see, rotary in the car, with the novice decal on the back. I just spotted that. Fantastic stuff. Great banter, it really is. Was that Wybear in the pits again? No, it's Splurge. Okay, so here we go. The battle for 9th, effectively. And it has gone the way of Splurge. In fact, Splurge manages to get quite a gap over them. They're also ahead of Wybear. Rather Sota and Wybear. So things have really worked out for them there, and they have managed to repair the damage. They're on softs, so hopefully Splurge will be able to fend off the challenge from the R8, although the R8 did have a bit of a run going up the hill. I think it's not quite going to be enough to make a move this time in the braking zone off the Camel Straight. Yep, seems to hold station at the moment, but that is definitely a battle to monitor. 10 laps left in this race. Gonna have another sip of my co-host. Shout out to Pineapple Juice, because we can't have any actual sponsors, because reasons. Someone else has bailed for the pit, so I wonder who that is. It's Joe. I did expect Joe to have to make another pit stop. Also, the tyres are quite worn, so where are they going to rejoin? Surely behind the likes of Rotary, I'd imagine. Oh, wait, Rotary? No. Quinners, I believe I meant to say. Yep. Damage for Amuda, meanwhile. We're gonna see what happened to them in a second. Joe does indeed rejoin in 6th place. Now what happened to Amuda? Again, we just missed it. Was it a single car incident? Were there any other cars involved? It would seem it's a single car incident. Looking over everyone, yep. No one else seemed to have damage. No full course caution, and indeed the race director confirms that, still green. As, oh. Okay, there must be some kind of glitch with the timing line here that keeps swapping around the order a little bit. And yes, we should get a juice company to sponsor Nukeshot. I think lime juice would be a very fitting addition to our very lime green cars. Or Nukeshot green, as I've coined the phrase. Wybear seems to have a bit of a run up the hill, do they? They seem to have settled in a bit better to their stint now. In the slipstream. Of course, we only saw the BMWs reach 158 without slipstreaming qualifying, 165 there with the assistance from Sota. It seems to be the only battle going off on track at the moment. Amuda in the pits, so that's them repairing their damage. I think they're going to rejoin, yep, safely from anyone, as Wybear has managed to make a move on Sota, so we're going to see a replay of that. Sorry, I was paying attention to the mini-map there, which is why I missed that one. So we're going to see it. Sota seem to outbrake themselves, and the move managed to stick. We saw something very similar with the ARS cars earlier on, if I recall correctly. Around the outside to the Alex Albon. Also, shout out to Super GT, if anyone gets that reference. Wake still in the lead, 16.7 seconds, but Fred in second. So Stig has made their pit stop. As you can see, very fresh tyres on that wagon. They are definitely rolling along at the moment. It's a Belgian 1-2 here at Spa-Francorchamps. What a fantastic story that would be. Nine seconds between Stig and Fred. We also see James lurking. Their tyres a bit more worn. Are they on better fuel? No, fuel's about equal between the two of them, so James is going to have a difficulty catching up to Stig. However, we've seen the kind of pace he does have in that Aston Martin. Fastest lap of the race is still his. Nuke Juice, thank you very much for that idea, Swablu. I'm gonna have to annoy Martin about that, the egghead, to make me some more decals at some point. There's already Mango Mobile, which I still yet to actually submit to him. Many fun ideas with that. Oh, very wide over the AstroTurf there by James. Seemed to keep it in a straight line, so it wouldn't have lost overly much time. But it is risky doing that. You also see Quinners. They're making their way closer. They're on better tyres. And equal fuel again to James. So we could be seeing a Quinners versus James battle continue as we make our way into the final quarter of the race. Again, fantastic noises and engine noise, variety of machines here in the ARS World GT Series. Fantastic to see and hear. Great colour schemes as well, very bold. Fantastic having such a diverse grid. Y-Bear and Splurge. So actually, Y-Bear's managed to get ahead of Splurge somehow. My apologies for missing that. But maybe Splurge made some kind of a mistake. They haven't got damage if they did make a mistake, but they're coming under attack from Sota in the R8 here. On the brakes. Sota holds station for now. I think we're going to go on board here with Sota. Oh, as they brake very late for the La Source hairpin. That's going to ruin their chances of being in slipstream, or is it? Certainly has a poor exit from the hairpin on the run down to Eau Rouge. Oh, slight lift from the R8. Indeed, that's dropping them out of contention a little bit. Just checking some of the data there. More blue flags being given to Amuda. So they're just parked up at the side of the road waiting for everyone to go past, it would seem. Oh, in fact, they've declared themselves as a DNF. So, commiserations to Amuda for that one. Unfortunate to see. Of course, we have seen that they have had their ups and downs throughout the season. They're even in the lead of the race for quite a few laps at Nürburgring, if I recall, at the very start of the season. As Sota does get ahead of Splurge, so just going to see what happened here. Splurge was ahead at this stage. Did he run wide up one? They seem to have done, yep, definitely. Maybe that's what they did the lap before that allowed Y-Bear to get past all the way to Narnia and back. Say hello to Aslan for me, lad. Big up my guy. And that's dropped Splurge down to 10th after that mistake. Would have put a bit of dust on the tyres as well. It'd take a while to clean that up. Wake with a 16-second gap. All they need to do at this stage is, well, splash and dash still. So it's certainly far from over at this stage. How? Splash and dash territory. Let's examine the data here. Gonna get everything up momentarily. So they'd have to take on fuel. They'd probably take on tyres as well, looking at the state they're in. And Fred, on the other hand, seems to have just enough fuel to get to the end of the race. Should have the tyres to just about last as well. So it's setting itself up very nicely for a duel of the Belgians in the closing stages, though there is still a 15-second gap between the two of them. That should come down a fair bit through the pit stop phase. I think Wake might just about still be able to hold on. Wake goes into the pit, so we're seeing this live in action now. This could be the fate of the race. Where will Wake rejoin? Do they take tyres? We're going to see what happens here. They do take tyres. That's going to cost them a few extra seconds. Now they're in the fueling up stage. Where's Fred? Where is Fred? Here's Fred. They're making their way to the La Source hairpin. There's Wake. You can just about see them. It's going to be side by side as they exit the pits. I think Fred might just get a run on them. Will they? No, not quite. Has to slot behind for now. doing the safe thing. Gonna try and get a run as they make their way up. Rally on. In the slipstream they go. Ducks out. Doesn't get enough of a run. You need a bit better momentum if you're going to overtake there. Now, Fred, on the worn tyres, going to have to make a move quick to stop Wake getting away on that fresh set. It will take a while for Wake to get used to the fresh set again. Bit of contact there. Wake just parks on the apex a little bit. Again, just going to get rid of all the telemetry there. Go back to partial. Again, the turbo whine, you're just about here. Wake goes a little bit wide through X. Someone play Jewel of the Fates from Star Wars in the background. We have ourselves a right Royal Rumble between these two drivers. Through Huan they go. Fred all over the back of Wake. Wake covers the middle of the circuit. Fred tries the outside through the piff path. They also see Stig in the background. They're going to be making a bit of time. Fred still sticks behind for now. If you're enjoying this entertainment, and I certainly am, I should probably leave a like on this stream, if that was a thing. But yep, definitely leave a like if you're enjoying this fantastic dueling we're seeing. Hopefully the guys keep it clean. And the run up through Blanchimont they go. Now the braking zone is going to be key here. Of the bus stop, Wake gets it stopped nicely. Fred just going to stick behind for now. Very patient again. I did actually tell Fred in a bit of a pep talk with both my drivers, I can reveal it now, to be a bit more patient with regarding this, so he's going to bide his time a bit if he's heeding my advice. Bit slidey on exit there, still has the slipstream. Quinners in the pits again. So what has happened to Quinners? They picked up damage. I'm not sure where that was. Oh, it's extremely unfortunate again for Quinners. No luck on their side. Fred gaining in the slipstream again. I don't know if it's going to be enough to make a move here. They're going to have to be committed on the brakes if they do so. Wake defends the inside line.com. Goes back to the outside, still leaves a car width. So all is fair in Love and Robot Wars, except this has nothing to do with Robot Wars at all. Fred goes to the outside of the Bruxelles hairpin. Can they hold on to it? No, they can't quite. Through X they go. These two are having a duel of the ages, and this is allowing Stig to catch up. Look how much ground Stig has managed to catch up in the other Gojira Nissan. Here we go again, the piff path. What is going to transpire here? Fred has to stick behind for now. Pretty much just one line you can take through there. But we have seen many an overtake there already. He's just positioning himself. Wake doing a very, very good job defensively. Despite being on those new tyres, don't take anything away from this drive by Wake. Fantastic stuff. Now Stig. Let's quickly check in on Stig. They are in a very similar situation to the other guys around them. Should be good for fuel. Should be A-okay. Fred just about manages to get the car stopped. This is going to be all I can focus on for the remainder of the race. It looks like it's going to be a 3-car scrap very shortly. Fred might have to see if Fred makes a move before Stig manages to close up. Oh, oversteer from Wake! There's going to be a poor exit by them. Fred's going to be alongside, are they? No. They back out of it. Going to try and still get a run going up the hill. Again, sparks being thrown. Massive sparks by the Nissan of Stig there. Bit of advice to Fred. In fact, no, he doesn't need it, it would seem. Still alongside. It's the most alongside he's been so far, but you need to drop back a bit if you're going to gain and get enough of a run to go alongside. Fred can't quite hold on to it, and now Stig has joined the party, everyone. Stig has joined the chat. Let's get ready to rumble. And there goes all monetization that I could ever hope for if I had these monetized. Oh, this is going to be epic. This is going to be epic. We're going to go rear wing cam, I think, on Wake's machine. The car in the lead at the moment. These guys separated by less than 0.3 of a second. Look how close the BMW's getting. It's beaten up and bruised. You can see the scratched paint on the front. Nevertheless, look at this. Fred having to go defensive as well as attacking as he notices Stig moving in the braking zone. Extremely tense here. Round the outside, can't quite get it done. Would probably open himself up for an attack by Stig if he did so there. Now then, on the run up to Blanchimont, it looks like Stig is going to be there. Just trying to cover him off. Difficult to tell with the amount of moves people are doing here, because it is a curved straight of sorts. As collision in the braking zone, that sent Wake off. Oh, and there's a sandwich! What on earth has gone off here? Stig has spun. Fred up into the lead. Is there any damage between these guys? Fred does indeed have damage. Wake does not. Wake was on the mediums actually, which explains why they dropped in pace. I'm going to see if I can catch this incident again. So what was this? Wake deliberately running into the back of Fred as retaliation, it would seem. Now that was a bannable offence in the NES when Rhino did it. I don't know what. I'm not saying I'm taking sides here. We're going to have to see the stewards investigate this one. I honestly cannot say. Frustrations running high. Stig has the fastest lap of the race, but they also have dropped out of contention. Now look at James. James dives up the inside. Bit of contact there. The two remain in position. Wake now without damage. Again, unfortunate that this has happened. It's going to be a difficult one for the stewards. Nevertheless, 2 laps of the race to go. I think the gap's starting to spread out now that Fred has got the damage. Indeed, 1.8 seconds. I'm thinking it might be all over unless there's a mistake. Even on the medium compounded tyres, Wake, with the undamaged car, seeming to pull away. Somehow Stig managed to avoid any sort of damage as well, which is interesting to know. James, they've somehow benefited from this. All very wide going out of Blanchimont. Nearly spanned the car around there. Oh, they just outbraked themselves a little bit. Fred goes into the pits. They're having to repair the damage. In fact, they might actually be fueling up a bit as well. That's extremely unfortunate situation for all 3 drivers. Things just getting a little bit too carried away. Great racing up to that point though, has to be said. Joe finds his way into 4th after having a very quiet race of doing not really a lot, so getting out the way of Stig and using their slipstream a bit. Of course, there is a ballast reset after this round, but the ballast earned in this race will carry over. So James finds themselves on the podium through all of this squabble. And again, a lot of stuff in the chat there. It's a difficult one to call. It requires replay data, I'd say, and a lot of analysis on the telemetry and such to make a call on that. One thing again, I'm going to probably come across as a bit biased saying this. I didn't like the way Wake retaliated and just ran into the back of Fred. Of course, you leave the vengeance to be dealt out by the stewards. You don't do it on circuit. We already saw in the NES, those that remember the NES, I know, very old series, Rhino was banned for a retaliation sort of move. Both Fushidara as well at the what was it? Toyota versus Porsche event, I believe it was, with Houdini. Then again, difficult one to call. Will require a lot of analysis by the stewards. NES Season 6 when? We'll have to see, Chief, we'll have to see. On to the final lap of racing. After that, as juicy as it might be, I think I'm not going to do any interviews today. Just to let things calm down. Don't want any expletives on stream. Rotary in 7th, Wybear 8th. Splurge 9th. Oh, running a bit wide there. Oh no! Oh, Splurge gets it wrong. Beyblade, let it rip, and into the wall. Oh dear. Just seemed, again, a bit too much speed carried through there. The tyres were too worn to deal with that. And then trying to get back onto the circuit, it's best to just run wide and use the runoff area at that point. Because of course, you know, the road continues to turn, and that way you increase the chance of spinning. And that's exactly what happened there. So, at pretty much the end of this, on the road it's going to be Wake more than likely taking the victory, Stig second. Now there's still a battle going on that could hopefully salvage this unfortunate series of events a little bit. We've got James versus Joe. Someone's actually span at the bus stop. I don't know who that was. These guys making their way up towards Blanchimont. It's going to be tense indeed. Someone's just stopped. What the? Oh, it's Splurge. I don't know what Splurge is doing there, but anyway, Wake is here. Wake comes across the line, takes the provisional first, as now look at this, Joe has managed to get ahead of James for third. I'm going to see this again. So down the inside it was at the bus stop, run a little bit deep. James trying to come back at him. Joe managed to fend him off at the line, so it's going to be Joe on the final step of the podium. TSR 1, 2, 3, James 4th, Fred 5th, after having to pit with the damage. Roland 6th. Rotary in the Paradox Jaguar is going to come home in 7th. 8th for Wyber. 9th is going to go the way of Sota. They are down at the bottom of the circuit at the moment. There you see Rotary coming across the line. Here you see Sota, the Flying Fin, last on the lead lap. Splurge just seemed to not want to complete another lap, I suppose. So down a lap they go, unfortunately. Still, points for all 10 positions. So the ballast, at least, we know, will be 3% Wake, 2% Stig, 1% Joe, because that's the order they came across the line in. We already established that with the whole Fred incident, at least. But as for the points, who knows? Who knows? For all I know, CJ could end up winning this race. Anyway, provisional victory again for Wake. There it is. I'm gonna save the replay data. That's definitely something that will be required. Oh, Fred has left already. Again, here are your race results. Of the guys that weren't involved in any incidents, Joe would be the highest ranked of them, followed by James. Again, difficult to say what will happen in the future. We'll have to see how things develop. Either way, this has been a very entertaining stream, that's for sure. Had some fantastic racing, some fantastic action, and of course a bit of controversy. Never too far away in motorsport, as we've seen with many different things recently, of course. Whether it's iRacing, IndyCar, or whatever. Really unfortunate to see, but nevertheless, all adds to the drama. We hope you've enjoyed the show here today on the Nukeshot Media channel. This has been the Sim Racing Federation ARS World GT Series Round 4 live at Spa-Francorchamps, the endurance round. Next time, let's just see where we're going next time. We are going to be heading to, drumroll, Bathurst, Mount Panorama. It's going to be an endurance round, so around the same length as this, an hour and 30 minutes. There's been debate as to whether it's going to be a daytime or a nighttime race, so that's an extra thing that could spice it up. We're going to see. It's also going to be livery week, so everyone's going to show up with special designs for that occasion. Should be great to see the creativity. We might actually hold a contest as well, a bit of a poll. Might have to add that to the description of that particular stream for the livery contest. Of course, that's next week. We'll have to see you then. Until then, though, this has been Zokeo of Nukeshot Media. This has been the ARS World GT Series at Spa-Francorchamps, and we hope you've enjoyed your time here. Hope to see you next time. Until then, from us, it's goodbye.